Okay, I really don't even know where to begin. I've been supposed to be doing this for months. As we go on, it's going to make more sense. I've got really poor bad anxiety, and I'm kind of disturbed because it's dark. I always plan to do this every morning, but I have really bad insomnia. I'm dealing with all type of anxiety and depression issues, which is impeding on my ability to move forward. As I go on, I'll get more comfortable and it'll make more sense. And I'm trying my best to not make these videos very long because I want you to follow along. So I'm going to ask you to please pay attention. Please get involved because it's hard for me. If I know you're watching, if I know I have your support, it'll encourage me. It's September 11th, 2024. I've been trying to do this for years. Okay. Previous videos probably told you about what I want to tell you, and it's been months since I probably filmed, and a variety of things have happened. I've lost my computer messed up, so I didn't have footage. A lot of stuff happened. So listen, let me get started, and I'm going to read this to you because I'm very forgetful, and I have the tendency to ramble. So if I read from my script, it'll be easier for you to follow along. Anyway, as a reminder, this series is to document the hate crime, fraud, government-sanctioned terrorism perpetuated by the state of California, including judicial officers, law enforcement, private entities, and multiple government agencies. I am documenting the long and continued anti-Black hate crimes. I'm a Negro, Black woman who was in a 23 abusive relationship with a white male, abusive alcoholic. I've experienced 5+ years of terror and trauma at the hands of the state of California. city employees who worked in concert to violate my civil rights under the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The Civil Rights Act, I believe is 1866, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to go through this and say this to you because this is going to, as I go on, the information that I'm going to give you is going to make more sense as we go, okay? The Constitution states only one command twice. The Fifth Amendment says to the federal government that no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. The 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, used the same 11 words called due process clause to describe a legal obligation of all states. These words have, I may have said this wrong. These words have as their central promise and assurance that all level of American government must operate within the law, legality, and provide fair procedure. And so I'm saying that because I'm a victim of anti-Black hate crimes beginning in the family court. Okay, California has a prevailing anti-Black culture. This is a conscious and unconscious anti-Black sentiments by the citizens of California. The anti-Black consciousness places Negroes, Black people at an economic and social disadvantage. The U.S. is a capitalist society, which means we have to compete, and we are being placed at an unfair disadvantage based on color, race, and ethnicity. I'm not saying that right. Being perpetuated by the government and society at large. I am struggling with mental health issues. Let me say again. I am struggling with mental health and cognitive issues. The research shows that Black women suffer trauma at a disproportionate rate. The state of California has severely diminished my quality of life because I was born a Negro, descendant of chattel slavery. I'm going to detail how I was discriminated against for being a Negro woman, descendant of chattel slavery. How judicial officers, government employees, law enforcement, and private businesses deliberately, knowingly, willfully committed anti-Black hate crimes, fraud, and the cover-up of the fraud. California has a an unspoken practice of anti-Black oppression, that the parties willfully inflicted irreparable harm to my physical and to me physically and financially. I will remind you that this harm occurred because I am a Black woman, Negro, descendant of chattel slavery. I'm dealing with legal specifics. I'm detailing. Okay, so what I'm doing, you guys, I've written this down, and as I stated, this is really hard for me. I'm not wearing my Apple Watch, but my heart is racing. Usually I'll show you, but I'm trying to stay focused and deliver or detail what happened to me. But what happens is that my heart races, my throat blocks, like I can't speak. I'm like literally having a panic attack. And what I want to detail is that I'm going to detail what happened to me. And you're not even, when I start unfolding everything that happened to me at the hands of the family court and other governmental agencies, it's going to be mind-boggling. This is about me being married to a very well-to-do white male who I was in a marriage with for over 23 years. We built a life, a home, and finances together. And everything was stolen from me illegally, fraudulently, because I'm a Black woman. And I'm pushing forward because I want justice, but more importantly, the people, these judicial officers, specifically judges, lawyers, are charged with upholding the Constitution. And it concerns me, guys, what they did to me is horrendous. And I'm trying to say this intelligently. And what I'm trying to say to you is that we need to highlight these people, have them removed from their position because they're harming people. What I've gone through is unspeakable. And I'm demonstrating to you as a human being what happens to the brain with trauma to this magnitude that I am almost unable to discuss what has happened. Not to mention, it's very hard to find legal counsel when it's a case of anti-Black hate crimes. I'm going to detail and demonstrate how in California, the legal system is biased. Even the attorneys are a party to the anti-Black hate crimes against Black people. So I'm going to go on, okay? I'm detailing the legal specifics surrounding my divorce. A Black Negro woman entangled in a 23-year abusive marriage to an abusive alcoholic. The court allowed my white wealthy husband to weaponize my Blackness. The court aided and participated in perpetuating fraud, mental and physical abuse. As I go on, I'm going to do a few videos at a time. I'm going to try to do 2 tonight, okay? My son's been taking care of me. As I've been doing this, you guys have been seeing, I've been in hotels, Airbnbs. My son will stay outside and leave to let me do this. And he's been gone since this morning. And I asked him to let me stay, gave me to 8 o'clock to finish this. I'm just starting because it's so hard for me. So as I go on, I'm going to have a format because this is to detail how my civil rights was violated by the governmental agencies, by lawyers, judges, judicial officers who are supposed to uphold the law, how they use the law to harm me and violate my civil rights. As I go on, we're going to ask questions. I'm going to detail the question. In the case of laws, there's a question. Did the court do that? Did this occur to demonstrate that I was harmed? And that the primary goal is to demonstrate that I'm not being treated equally. That the 14th Amendment was enacted in 1866 to ensure newly freed slaves were treated equally. And I'll say this in other aspects of this. I also do a thing called Reunite Sandy Speaks. in those videos, I'm going to detail how this 14th Amendment is being used by immigrants and other American citizens, not descendants of chattel slavery, when it was enacted for Negro people, descendants of chattel slavery. Okay, I'm going to detail how the court deprived me of marital assets and spousal support outlined by the California Family Code 2100. How they legally took possession of my marital home and personal property. How Judge Sarah Heidel, and I'll probably put her up here, Judge Sarah Heidel ordered City of Industry Sheriff to break down my door during COVID. On September 23rd, 2020, the City of Industry Sheriff broke down my back door. During COVID, you guys, they broke down my back door, illegally broke in my home, threatened to arrest me if I didn't leave my home. The City of Industry Sheriff illegally took possession of my home, and then the court illegally sold my home, giving the proceeds to the white male abusive alcoholic. During COVID, one of the worst pandemics in modern history, sheriffs illegally put me and my son in the street, having zero regard for our health and well-being. All the property in my home was given to a company, a storage company, Box and Go, who refused to disclose where my property is. So this goes on, you guys. I'm giving you a brief synopsis, and I'm going to go into detail over what has happened over the course of the past 3 or 4 years, okay? The Torrance Police Department is complicit in covering up the theft of me and my son's property valued at over $800,000. So really briefly, I'm going to go into this in detail, but I think it's important that I tell you some of the important aspects of what happened. My house was 3,000 square feet. During COVID, sheriff deputies broke in my home, put me in the street. They did it illegally because it was during COVID that the person I was married to couldn't do anything legally to have me removed from the home because there was a mandate stay-at-home order. We started going through the divorce during COVID, okay? And what he was trying to do, he was trying to sell my house and have people come in the home during COVID. It was COVID. We couldn't have people coming in and out of the house, okay? So he couldn't do anything legally. If you're an attorney, I'm going to try to get attorneys to get involved in this and help me with this. You'll know the legal terminology. I found out later on, see, I'm going off script, but I need to stay on script. But I found out later on that they had to take certain steps to have me removed from the home, okay, which they shouldn't have anyway because it was my home, okay? They couldn't because it was COVID. So this Judge Sarah Heidel had these sheriffs you guys, 8:30 p.m. at night, they broke down my back door, broke in my home. I was in there on the phone, and I probably said this before. I'm going off script, you guys, because the truth doesn't change. I was on the phone talking to some guy, and I heard someone come through my back door. I heard police coming in saying clear, clear, like they were breaking in a drug dealer's home. They broke in my home during COVID. Understand what I'm saying? I had nothing. I'm going to tell you as we go on how devastating this was and how the court and the law enforcement and everybody else that is a party to this are complicit. And let me say this to you. I'm going to say this really briefly. I don't know if you know, but California has a reparation task force. Since that time, it's been shown that this California task force was a ruse to get black votes, okay? The main judge, Judge Sarah Heidel, Judge Lawrence Riff, are in bed with the reparations task force. I'm going to stop there going off script, and I'm going to continue and tell you what happened because I'm going off script, and I really don't want this video to be that long. You know what? Let me pause and see how the video looks. I'm going to continue, okay, you guys? Thank you. I'm continuing, and it's been 15 minutes, okay? My goal is to make these videos between 20 and 30 minutes. The first couple you guys, I'm doing the best that I can. If you have to stop and rewatch them, please do, okay? I've already spent 15 minutes. It's probably going to take me another 20. Okay, I skipped over this. The question that we're asking in this video is, question, does Judge Sarah Heidel show bias, misconduct by misleading me? By making derogatory and disparaging statements. You guys, I make mistakes. So as we go on, we're going to ask questions, legal questions that says, did the court do this? Did the court do that? The first round, this is the very beginning, okay? Please stay with me. I'm going to say this again, and I know I'll be beating the dead horse, you guys. But I just want to emphasize that this is hard for me. That I've been laying in a bed for years, sad and depressed, while my adult son takes on this man who I married's responsibility, my black male son. Okay, so I'm you know, you guys, you see how I go left, and I gotta stay here. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, please follow this video, whether you're black or white or whatever. It doesn't matter. I want black people to support me, but if you're not black, if you're not a Negro, descendant of Choctaw slavery, this is about ethics, morals. This is about being unethical, immoral, lacking integrity, discriminating against discrimination, racism. It is unethical. It's poor morals. So it's typical that if someone is unethical or immoral, they'll harm a black person faster because there's more probability they can get away with it. California has a very low population of black people, and what you will find is the black people often are a party to the anti-blackness. And I hate to say that, but as I go, it's going to unfold. Like back in the day, we would call them the house nigger or whatever, the house person. But that is about functioning. That's about trying to survive. Some black people were forced to be a party to the anti-blackness. And some of y'all black people are going to say, you ain't with that. Like, forget that. And I'm that black person too. But some of them don't have courage. Some of them don't think that we can overcome this. So they are a party to harming other black people or whatever the psychology is. Okay. So let me keep going. Question, the first question, again, I'm going to say it to you guys again. Question, does Judge Sarah Heidel show bias, misconduct by misleading me? And this is a question, as I tell you what happens, I want you to answer the question. By making derogatory and disparaging statements about me, okay? So, I'm going to detail how the court deprived me of marital assets. I already said that, okay? So, I'm going to go here. I'm so sorry. I already said that. To recap, the petitioner filed for divorce on September the 5th, 2017. The petitioner was the sole income provider for the last 10 years of a 23-year marriage. I'm going to detail years of abuse by the state of California. Coupled with COVID, I have not been able to pick up the pieces to my life. This white male abusive alcoholic has been living lavishly on our marital assets while I was confided to a bed bug infested hotel. And you know what, guys? The photos, they make me sick. But I want you to see, I might put them in here, of how I was living. Please follow along. If you're suffering from anxiety or depression, you're having some issues due to anti-black hate crimes, family, I love you so much. And I know this is hard. I need you to support me. They do this to us because they can. Ain't nobody going to save us but us. This is for us. So I need you to follow along, get involved, leave me messages, root me on. I can do this. God, this is my purpose. I can do this. It's really hard. I shouldn't keep focusing on that, but it is. But the point that I'm making is, stay with me. Give me comments. Tell me you got my back. Say you care. This helps me with the depression and the sadness. Okay, going back to where I was at. Okay, so I'm going to detail years of abuse by the state of California. Coupled with COVID, I have not been able to pick up the pieces to my life. This white male abusive alcoholic has been living lavishly on marital assets while I was confided to a bed bug infested hotel. destitute, suffering from severe depression and anxiety. The petitioner stayed in the marital home until January 2018. He abandoned me without spousal support. I endured domestic abuse while dealing with a severe back injury. I was forced to retire from a professional sales career due to a severe back injury I incurred while working for JP Morgan Chase First Data Venture. I slipped in the parking lot of Def Jam Studio in Santa Monica, California, while visiting Max Goose. You guys might know Max Goose, okay? Max Goose, he's a senior VP of Universal Music Group. He reps artist relationship. He's the artist relationship manager for who worked with Rihanna, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Sweetie. Most recently, Sweetie. I slipped in the garage on a concrete floor around about August of 2008. Am I saying this right? 2008. Y'all, it's been so long. Yeah, I think it's 2008. Jesus, life is just happening. I suffered with a constant back pain up until 2016. I finally had surgery. Dealing with the chronic pain, you guys, I want to tell you about Max Goose. I want to tell you about me falling. This is why I got to stay on script because I was saying go left. Max Goose, you guys Google him, see who he is. He now reps Sweetie. When I went to see him, I was working for the bank. He had plaques for B-Day. He was Beyonce's A&R. I slipped and fell, messed my back up at Def Jam, okay? And you know, remember the dude who married, see, y'all, so I can't stay focused. The dude who married Tamar's in the news now. Vince, look, he was checking me out when I was in the lobby waiting for him. He was there. So look at me. You guys, I'm like a reality show like junkie, so indulge me. Anyway, going back. Artist relationship manager who worked with Rihanna, Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Sweetie. I slipped in the garage on a concrete floor around about August of 2008. I suffered with a constant back pain until 2016 when I finally had surgery. Dealing with the chronic pain weighed on my marriage. I didn't marry a compassionate man. I should probably mention I suffered a pretty bad arm fracture in the first 2 years of our marriage. I broke my arm. And you guys, I'm telling you that I'm going to show you my arm. He used to get, for the guy I married, used to get freaked out about this. But you see my arm? This is skin from my leg. My arm broke in half, okay? I broke it years ago. Then when we moved to California, I slipped and fell and I broke my arm again. And the reason why I'm saying is this man I was married to, he wasn't compassionate. He wasn't nice. When I hurt my arm, I was on Vicodin and all kinds of stuff. This was back when we first got married, like in the 90s, okay? What I'm saying to you is different things happened to me, my physical health, that was detrimental to me. But he wasn't like some husbands. I'm not even gonna get emotional about it because I know who this man is now. Okay, he wasn't. I don't know. Some women say that's how men are. I don't know. He wasn't compassionate. I'm putting this in here because my physical ailments. Hurt my back. I had back surgery, and early on in the marriage, I broke my arm. Okay, and this is when I started realizing that he wasn't compassionate. And what's happening as I sit here, when I need to stay on a script, I'm remembering how he was. When I hurt my arm, he was mean to me. Like I had a cast and it would itch. And I was really, I was in pain and I was suffering. You see this? This is skin from my leg. Okay. I had multiple surgeries. They had to take skin off my leg and put it over my arm. Okay. He wasn't compassionate. Okay. This is the first 2-3 years. We were married for over 23 years. This was the first 3 or 4 years of our marriage. I think maybe the first 2 years, I slipped and fell and hurt my arm. So what I'm saying, if you have a family member that incurs an injury, that person can weigh on, like you're responsible for them. You need to help them. And he was nasty to me. I'm gonna get back on strip. But you know what? Forgive me because I gotta be honest. And because I want you to understand what I've gone through, what I went through with this man, that I didn't do anything to this man, that I love this man, how he abused me, and how the court not only protected him, not holding him accountable for abusing me, they deemed me as the abuser. I haven't even got to that yet. Okay. So I hurt my back too. I had back surgery, and like if this ever becomes any legal matter, the doctors are going to can testify how mean he was to me, how he behaved. Like when I was in surgery, he went to work. Like after I was having surgery, my son came. My daughter called me from college. This man left me. And so what, I gotta stay focused, but you guys, I gotta say this to you. Like when my back was messed up, let me tell you one of the things that he did that was nasty. When you have back surgery, you can't get up, so you have a porta potty. So I'm sleeping. When I woke up, he had gone to work. You guys, he closed the porta potty. I couldn't get out, so I had back surgery. I could barely get out and pee by myself. While I was gone, while I was sleeping, I woke up. He had closed the porta potty. I think I had to get my son to come help me pour out the pee. You guys, I know this is gross. But this man was my husband for 23 years. And this is the beginning. I'm going to show you what this white male abusive alcoholic did to me. And if you have any questions, what you're going to see is I didn't do anything to this man. I didn't do anything. I never infidelity. I can count my sex partners on one hand. 5 people. My husband was number 4. I had a small fling with a number 5. It's September 2024. I ain't had sex since 2022. Okay, I'm keep going. Anyway, I didn't marry a compassionate man. I should probably mention I suffered a pretty bad arm fracture in the first 2 years of my marriage. I broke my arm. I did have medical issues at the beginning of the marriage and towards the end. As I mentioned, he wasn't very compassionate. He was impatient, abusive regarding my medical issues. Detailing the legal events, the petitioner left the marital home January of 2018. Again, he was the sole provider. Because I want to tell you, New Year's Eve is my anniversary. He went with some chick on our anniversary in San Diego. My anniversary is New Year's Eve. He spent our anniversary with some chick in San Diego, came home and left on January the 5th, moved out and left me. He was the sole provider. I didn't have any income, okay? My husband makes over $200,000 a year, in case you want to know what income bracket we're in. I don't know why I call that man my husband. All of 2018, the petitioner failed to pay spousal support. The spousal support should have been around about $4,000 a month. The court not only failed to provide spousal support, the malicious judge billed me for the time I lived in the home after the petitioner abandoned me. Failing to pay spousal support, I was already suffering from domestic abuse. I was trying to recover from a traumatic back injury that I suffered chronically for over 8 years. I tried to avoid confrontation with the petitioner. His abuse would leave me literally mentally debilitated. My primary physician gave me formal orders not to engage with the petitioner. The orders read that it was best to communicate through my daughter, who was away at college. Exhibit. Okay, so let me say this to you guys. I'm going to put this on YouTube, but there's also a website. What is it? Judge Sarah Heidel is a racist. Documents are already on there. Okay, so the truth don't change. I'm going to show you everything. Everything is public record now, right? I guess I'm getting excited because I'm moving ahead and I'm thinking. What I'm trying to say is that I'm going to put you. It'll probably be a link. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a link to the website. The website's going to have the document. So, for example, you guys, I got to find the document. The document for So what I'm saying, I'm going to say this again. My primary physician gave me formal orders not to engage with the petitioner. The orders read that it was best to communicate through my daughter, who was away at college. What I'm saying is that document that my doctor submitted, that I submitted to the court, that the court has, I'm going to upload on Judge Sarah Heidel is a Racist, a website called Judge Sarah Heidel is a Racist. I will put the link on every video. I will put the link in the description on YouTube. So you can go to the website and see the actual documents. I need legal assistance. So if you're a legal, if you have legal knowledge, you can refer me to someone that has legal knowledge. I'm not going to get justice in California. California is the most anti-Black state in this country. And as I go on, I'm going to demonstrate to you that the attorneys are a party to the anti-Black, like the anti-Black, how should I say, the anti-Black treatment, abuse, anti-Black oppression. Even Black attorneys are a party to it. And, you know, we can point the fingers at the Black attorneys. We can get angry. We can say that they're Judas or traitors, which is the case. But you have, as a Black person, which is unfortunate, I'm not that person. Okay, that's why this is my purpose. I'm not going to harm anyone. As I go on, you're going to know who I am in my heart, okay? But some Black people and family, if it sounds like I'm making excuses for Black people, those who know me know this is how I am. I try to be right, okay? There are Black people who are party to the anti-Black hate crimes. There are Black people who participated in this. And I'm going to name them. And so we can look at them. I don't know how we should look at them. Do we judge them? Do we say they're traitors, they're beneath even the white supremacists because they're harming their own people? Or is it California? It has such a long history of anti-Black culture, anti-Blackness, that in order to survive, just like the house, that you may have to be a party to it. You understand what I'm saying? I want to get too deep because there's a lot of stuff going on politically today that's coming to my mind. But family, I love Black people like I love air. And those who have harmed me, I give it to God. Those who are participated in the hate crimes against me, who look like me, who are of my bloodline, and they're participated, my heart breaks for them. Because to do that to someone else that looks like you, as part of your culture, your heritage, your lineage, is sick to me. You have a sickness. You're a coward. You don't have a backbone. And it's not me to judge those people. I give that to God. Okay? And so what I'm saying, I am aware that Black people participate in this, specifically in California, because California is the most anti-Black state in this country. And I'm going to get into this right now because I need to stay focused. Y'all going to say Mississippi, Alabama. I'm from New York City. I met the guy I married in North Carolina. Y'all don't know, California, a Democratic state, is the most anti-Black state in this country. And the behavior of Black people to each other is a function of the anti-Blackness. It is from being in the rat race, crabs in the bucket. When you have nothing, you're trying to survive. People, they resort to, egregious behavior to survive. I'm not that person, but this is what they've done to Black people since they brought us here. I digress. So I'm gonna find the doctor's note, and you're gonna be able to find some things I'm gonna put on the website, and some things, if you message me and ask me for the proof, I will submit it to you and give it to you. Okay. Okay. So this is my doctor. She's not my doctor anymore because the guy I married dropped my insurance during the divorce. All kinds of stuff happened, you guys. So I lost my doctor. I had a Black doctor for many years, and she knew. Like, I would go and tell her about the stuff that I went through. she also was in a biracial marriage. She was married to, I think, a Mexican man, and she's a black doctor. The guy I was married to was a white male, and we kind of bonded about this, being black women with biracial children. So she knew my situation, and I talked to her at the time. This was early on in the divorce. I had no idea that they were going to malign me the way that they did. She understood in me engaging with her that I was having a hard time discussing it. So she said, you know what, don't talk to him. She saw that it was, this is early on. She saw that it was disruptive to my psyche. So she suggested as a doctor, she gave me orders, go to your daughter instead of engaging with this man directly, because she understood that he was abusive, okay? I didn't have an income. I was forced to drive rideshare in a $250 a week rental, rendering me at a negative earnings after fuel expenses. So this is what happened. He left, okay, for a year. This was my husband of 23 years. We would break up. We would have fights. I'm going to tell you what really infuriated him. When he left, I didn't fight with him. When he left, I didn't beg him to stay. We went to dinner one night. He said, I want to come and I'll spend the night if we get along well. This man, he spent New Year's Eve, our anniversary, in San Diego with some woman. He moved out, didn't tell me where he was moving. You guys, this was 23 years of pain. I'm not going to cry. I'm going to keep it together. This was 23 years of me putting up with this man. My back. And you guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I love my husband. This is my husband. I'm not going to lie to you. This is my husband. I love my husband. You could judge me, but this was my husband, who was an alcoholic. Okay? So during this time, I know what's happening. He's threatening me. He's trying to scare me, because this is what he did to me throughout our marriage, our courting. He would do shitty things to me. And if you've been in a bad marriage or relationships, you know, okay? And what it was, when we went to dinner, he says, well, if we get along, I'll spend a night with you. And I said, that's okay. This man went to San Diego during our anniversary, came back and moved out. And what happened, you guys? He started moving, I'm making this video long. He started moving the stuff out of our closet. My home was 3,000 square feet. We had one long closet. My stuff was on one side. His stuff was on the other side. And then you guys, all the stuff I'm talking about, they stole my things, okay? When he was moving the stuff out, I didn't fight with him. I said, oh, I got closet space. He was being shitty, leaving, like, bye. No, and this time I wasn't going to fight with him. I started putting my shoes from my side to his. I said, okay, I got more space. He was infuriated that I didn't fight with him. Normally, this is 23 years of marriage. We've been together for like 3 years prior to that. We got, I think, 3 years before we got married, okay? This was 26 years of this vortex that I call it, okay? I was suffering from my back injury. I'm trying to get healthy, okay? I'm trying to tell you what was on my mind. What was on my mind? He thought he was going to come home, sleep with me. And, you know, you guys, because of everything that happened to me, part of me is like, I should have just let him come home. When he wanted to come home and sleep with me that night, I said no. And this infuriated him, because I always was the bigger person in every aspect of our disagreements. I was always the better person. I'm a Cancer son. Okay, if you know about astrology, I'm a Cancer. He is a Taurus. He is stubborn, hard-headed, want to have his way. I'm a Cancer. We're loving. We're understanding. We're agreeable. We're nurturing. Okay? I was tired. This man spent our New Year's anniversary in San Diego with some woman. Then he comes home 5 days later, moves out of the house. He had filed for divorce before that. Okay, I don't even want to go into how he served me and the shit that he did. Okay, so when we had dinner, he was like, I'm going off script, you guys. When we had dinner, he was like, if we get along during dinner, I will spend the night with you guys. I want to tell you more what happened. I got to stay focused, and I'm so sorry, you guys. Please stay with me. I'm going to go back to the script. But I just want y'all to know this. How everything got bad and why he got nasty, and he was just, all the things he did to me, this is why. In my mind, you spend an anniversary with some woman, you file for divorce, you move out, don't tell me where you are. You think you're going to come home and sleep with me? And normally, old dumb me would have just went on one, I just want to stay married and happy. My daughter was going to college. I was wanting my family and us to get older together. That's all that didn't matter to me. Okay, this is 23 years of ups and downs, ups and downs. We would fall out. We would have issues, but we would always get back together. We would always reconcile, okay? I would leave him alone. Like, don't mess with me. I would just leave him alone and stop talking to him. And then he would come and apologize, email me, let's go to Vegas. He would make up with me. Early on I would argue. When we were like in our first 5 years, I would fight with him. I would argue, we would fight. We would have arguments. But as I got older, because of my back, I learned. I'm going to keep going because I know I've gone too far. I learned to avoid an argument. So what happened was, you guys, what I'm saying to you is, when I tell you all the things that had happened, why he did all the things he did to me, he did this to me because when he asked to come back home to spend the night, that I denied. I denied him. And I think he was renting a room. This was going to require that he pays for 2 households. So he wanted to come back home. But I was thinking to myself, you're not coming home sleeping with me when I don't even know where you've been. You guys, I'm going to keep on going. I might even tell you, I don't know in here if I got where I caught him with a hooker. Okay, I'm going to keep going because I've gone too far off script. And I want legal people to listen to this, the legal aspect of this, and forgive me for going off script. But I want you to understand my mental stability, my state of mind. Okay, I didn't have an income. I was forced to drive rideshare in a $250 a week rental, rendering me at a negative earnings after fuel expense. So what happened was he left. He moved out. I didn't work. I was trying to build a business. I'm not gonna go into that. I didn't have a car. I had an SUV. My SUV was too old. I still have the same old SUV and it doesn't even work. Okay, it's outside, doesn't even work. All I had was an old SUV that was not ride share. I don't know, was it Lyft or Uber? I did both. It was too old for me to use it, so I had to rent a car. So I spent $250 a week to rent the car. So I had to drive almost 3 days before I made a profit with my bad back. And I'm going to go into this. I'm going to talk about this. But when you look at the fuel and time spent, I didn't make any money. Matter of fact, I think I may have gotten a settlement from Uber because somebody sued Uber because I was not making a profit. Okay, so moving forward, early on in the proceeds, my rights were being violated. I experienced anti-Black treatment from Los Angeles Superior Court. Judge Sarah Heidel, Judge Lawrence Riff, and Judge Bruce Arasaki. As mentioned, I sustained a concussion. The first court date, January 2nd, 2019. I think I'm right about, it was either January 2nd or January 7th because I had 2 January court dates. I think it was January 2nd, 2019, and I'll put a link to the transcripts. I couldn't think. I had constant migraines. Did I say this to you? I got rear-ended. Why I ended up going to court asking for spousal support is because I got rear-ended. I couldn't pay my bills. I probably said this, and he had my lights cut off, all kind of stuff. Let me say, focus, you guys. As I mentioned, I sustained a concussion. The first court date, January 2nd, 2019, I couldn't think. I had constant migraines. My head felt like I was underwater. If someone spoke to me, I really didn't understand. I would have to ask the person to say it twice or more to understand. My concussion was fresh. I had 0 income. I was praying that this woman would provide relief. Important facts, the transcripts. You guys, as we go on, I hope that this makes more sense, okay? Because I wrote this down, and I think I feel like I left things out, but I feel like I probably I may have filled in the blanks. I have a bad memory because of the my cognitive issues because of depression and the sadness. Okay. Okay. On the transcripts, forgive me. You know what? I'm going to pause for a minute and drink some water. Okay. Okay. I'm detailing January the 2nd. You guys, I'm going to tell you, this is our first time going to court. Okay. This is what I wanted to say before. He filed for divorce in 2017. I didn't say this before. All of 2018, I really didn't do anything because it was our habit, a pattern for us to fall out and get back together. My daughter had just went to college. Where she spent she had just went to college. No, she had been in college. This year she was going to spend in Europe. 2019, 2020. Am I saying that right? You know what, on here it says 2019, but it wasn't, it was 2018 because 2020 was COVID. Yeah. 2018 to 2019, my daughter was spending a year in Europe. We had planned to visit her. He ended up going without me, guys, because I didn't have any money. Okay. So his court date is 2019 because he left the top of 2018. He filed in 2017. It was over a year and a half before there was a court date. Okay. It was over a year and a half before there was a court date. And the reason being is that we would talk, right? And usually we would make up. But you guys, I was hurt and I was tired. And so everything that happened, I wouldn't have fathomed this man would have done this to me. This I'm going to talk to you about the court date, January 2nd, 2019. It had been over a year and multiple days before the first court date. Okay. It's because, sorry guys. I intended on reconciling with him. Maybe we would have reconciled. Okay. I was just trying to let him know he couldn't bully me anymore. I was tired of him being bullying me. Okay. I'm going to move forward. Okay. The court says she was, okay, so this is the first day of court. And I don't even know. I think this is called trial setting. I don't even know. I got a notice to go to court. This is when I, right, weeks after I got a concussion from being rear-ended. The court says, I'm reading from the transcripts. The court says she was having a conversation with the opposing about the case before I was in the courtroom. My understanding is she can't discuss the case with opposing if I'm not present. I'm beginning with the very beginning of what I feel was misconduct by the judge, by the court. Okay, I come in the court. She's talking to his attorney without me being present, and I don't think that that's legal. I think that she can't have conversations with the court without me being present. Okay. The court says she was having a conversation with the opposing about the case before I was in the room. My understanding is she can't discuss the case with opposing if I am not present. I'm going to insert 2 pages from the transcripts here. A link to the entire transcripts will be down in the description box. And an associate attorney appeared on the petitioner's behalf. You will recognize by reading the transcripts I was confused and lost. I just want help. As a California resident, I just wanted what the law allowed. I greeted the attorney. In every hearing, the court never asked me what I wanted. As a Black woman, an American Negro, descendant of Choctaw slavery, my civil rights are being violated. Exhibit AA transcript, see the page 2, line 9. Judge Sarah Heidel makes a nasty remark to me, saying this court is a hearing. This court saying this is a court hearing. Her demeanor is aggressive. You guys, I don't know what's going on. I go in the courtroom. It's this black woman standing there. I don't know who she is. I don't have an attorney. I don't know the procedures. Okay, not to mention I got a concussion and anxiety and depression. Okay, see contrasting difference with Judge Sarah Heidel speaks to a non-black person. You guys, I'm going to get the transcripts from other people. I've got a list of people who were heard, who also had a hearing in the court, and I'm going to do a compare and contrast and show you how she speaks to me versus when she speaks to white people. Okay. Ms. Smith states that the issue are vocational evaluation. So this is a black attorney. You guys, she ends up leaving. And I think she ends up leaving because she's not helping me, but she's not being, I'm going to go on. But I think she ended up leaving this firm because of something that happened with the court, okay, with my case. So she's not the lead attorney. She's an associate, okay? The girl who harmed me, who I think may have had a baby with my husband. I don't know, you guys. I'm going to go on to this. This gets good, okay, you guys? Her name is Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith states that the issues are vocational evaluation, property division, spousal support, and attorney fees. I want you to be aware that the transcripts aren't accurate. Often when the judge and I speak, there are entire sentences missing from the transcripts. You will see lines or dashes where there should be a testimony. So what I said early on is that I'm a victim of anti-black hate crimes by the state of California. Multiple court officers and other governmental agencies are a party to the anti-black corruption, fraud, and the cover-up of the fraud. They work in concert. And one of the people I'm including is, though I don't know the name, I don't remember, but the people who are responsible for the court reporters. I complained to them, and as we go on, I'm going to name them as a party to the anti-black hate crimes, fraud, and the cover-up of those hate crimes. Because if you look at the transcripts are not accurate, okay? And as I've been doing this, you guys, I don't know if I should say this now, as time went on and all these different things have happened, that I'm figuring out what's happening. The court reporter, they're in it with them, okay? What I learned, another issue that happened in October, is that when testimony is given, they move the testimony in different aspects, like cutting and pasting. I don't know how they verify the transcripts, because I think that what my understanding is that the transcripts can't be doctored, okay? I'm going to learn this as we go on. If you have knowledge, give me knowledge. But as I've gone on and looked at the transcripts and see what happened, what's happening is they're copying and pasting. They're using testimony and putting it in different places of the court hearing. Okay, as I go on, I'm going to explain that more. I know this is long, but as we go on, I'm going to do better at tailoring each segment to be shorter. Again, if it's long, please just stop and come back. Okay, I explained to Judge Heidel that I had an ongoing medical issue and was recently in a collision. See transcripts January 2nd, 2019. Link transcripts in the description, Exhibit AA of the court. I'm going to make the comment. This is what she says to me. I'm going to make the comment, you seem to be very lucid at times, and then you slow down. Your speech a lot, similar to how I'm doing now, y'all. I'm going to make this comment. You seem to be very lucid at times, and then you slow down. Your speech and a lot seems more confused when you talk about your injuries. I'm not sure what's going on with you, but it's noticeable. Now time has passed. I recognize what happened at this time. I didn't understand. I had a horrible anxiety and insomnia and a concussion on top of it. Now I know that everything they did to me, you guys, this was planned. I'm going to go on. I shouldn't just give it away. I'm going to tell you as it unfolds. This is her setting me up. This is her setting me up My husband knew this woman. I'm going to tell you as I go on. I can't. As I go on, it's going to unfold. Now that I've read this and over again, and I'm looking at it and I'm seeing what had happened, how it ended, what she was doing. She's trying to set me up. Okay, so let me read on. Now that time has passed, I recognize what happened at the time. I didn't understand. I had horrible anxiety, insomnia, and a concussion on top. Now I know that she had planned to malign me from the very beginning. When she said I didn't understand her, I was having a hard time with train of thought, which I told her. I now know because I read the transcript. She insinuated that I was on drugs or something negative. I draw the inference that is negative by her beginning the statement with, I'm going to make this comment. I'm going to go on. And also by the body language of the bailiff. I'm seeing this in my mind. I begged her to provide some type of relief. She refused. She was impatient and condescending. She continued this condescending demeanor at every hearing. It was her body language and her facial expression. You guys, when she said that, I don't know what she said. And read the transcript. I had no idea what she said. I kind of assumed she said something maybe mean or negative because the bailiff stood back and she looked the way the bailiff, it was a woman. And moving on was this big black dude named Black, okay, changed, okay. It was a white woman bailiff. I see her in my mind, you guys. And I remember her looking back at me and, her face was kind of concerned. I don't know what's happening because I have a concussion. I can't hear. My head is ringing, okay. So when she said this, I didn't, forgive me for going over again against you guys because I lose my train of thought. When she said this, I didn't understand her. I was having a hard time with train of thought. When I told her, I now know because I read the transcript, she insinuated that I'm on drugs or something negative. I draw the inference that is negative by her beginning the statement with, I'm going to make the comment. And also by the body language of the bailiff. I begged her to provide some type of relief. She refused. She was impatient and condescending. She continued this condescending demeanor at every hearing. It was her body language and her facial expression. Judge Sarah Heidel repeatedly made light of my medical condition. She attempted to gaslight me during the other court appearance. I will detail these other occurrences in sequential order. Page 4, line 18 through 28. In my testimony, I tell the court, I really am not prepared for any trial until I have representation. Transcript January 2nd, 2019, page 4, line 23. You guys, at this point, I don't have an attorney, okay? I go to a court hearing, I don't understand what's going on, okay? I don't understand any procedure. See, I keep wanting to give it away, but I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to stay in line so as it unfolds, you see what happens, okay? I'm the respondent. This is what I say. Excuse me, guys. I'm so sorry. The respondent. This is me saying, that's like one of the issues. Because I didn't have representation, I don't know the process to discovery. What he has and what he hasn't been transparent for a very long time. I'm reading for the transcripts. And also, you guys, I'm going to go back. I don't know if I put this in here because I'm real forgetful and I lose train of thought. This is very overwhelming because there's a lot of content. There's a lot to cover. And I forget what I've included and what I haven't concluded because I'm having severe cognitive issues. I want to say to you, when she said to me, when she said something to me about my demeanor, my response was, I asked her, I didn't know what she said, okay? But what she's doing, she's setting me up to try to discredit me early on, okay? I say to her, remember the question. The question is, my question, remember, let me say it to you guys again. The original question that we're going to answer in this segment is, does Judge Heidel, and I may not be phrasing it grammatically correct me, attorneys and English majors, does Judge Sarah Heidel show bias, misconduct by misleading me, by making derogatory and disparaging statements? So the question is, does she show misconduct by misleading me? I'm going to say to you how she misled me, and by making disparaging comments about my mental state her insinuating that I would stutter. She was saying that I was stuttering. I don't know. My behavior was just like it is now. You guys, I couldn't think. Okay, I'm just gonna tell y'all. Probably. All right. I don't know. She was I don't even know because the lady's a liar. So I'm not even going to assume anything. But remember, the question is, did she show misconduct by misleading me and by making disparaging comments? Let me see where I'm at, because of course I've gone past where I'm supposed to go. I don't want to stop the thing. The respondent. This is page 4, line 18 to 28. These are our transcripts on January the 2nd, 2019. Okay? And most likely I'm going to have a link to the transcripts on a YouTube, or if you're watching this on the website, it's going to be here somewhere. The respondent. That's like one of the issues, because I didn't have representation. I don't know the process of discovery. What he has and what he see, this is where you see the line in the transcript. What he has and what he does. I say, I don't know the process of discovery. What he has and what he hasn't. I said something else. It's lines in the transcript. So I don't know exactly what I said because the transcripts are not complete. He hasn't been transparent for a long time. I'm going to tell y'all this real quickly. And I'm so sorry. This is important. If you're a legal professional, if you're following along with the story, take notes, because I need help. Okay? Everything I'm saying is going to be important and germane to the case. I'm saying to her, ma'am, I now know, you guys, this is making me sick. I now know that the judge was supposed to allow discovery. They didn't allow discovery. I don't want to jump ahead. I now know that there's a whole process that they didn't cover. I'm telling her, ma'am, I'm thinking she's saying, okay, we're going to have a trial soon. I don't know, because I don't have an attorney, okay? I'm saying to her, ma'am, I need to find out the process of discovery, because he hasn't been transparent for a long time. This is what happened. We shared the whole 23 years of our marriage. It's what's called commingled our funds. We had our bank accounts were together. Okay, I'm saying it right. We never separate our funds. All our assets were together. What happened? We were banking with Wells Fargo. We ended up getting a bank account at Chase. It's now Chase, but previously was Washington Mutual. He didn't like Wells Fargo because Wells Fargo kept charging us fees. My husband is really a penny pincher, okay? His friends all said, which was actually, he was right this time. His friends said, all his friends would tell him that Washington Mutual had free accounts. It was Washington Mutual, I think, when we did this, but it eventually became Chase, okay? He went and opened up an account with Washington Mutual. He put my name on it, okay? He brought home paperwork for me to add myself to the account. They broke in my house and stole all my property, okay? The paperwork I'm talking about was in the property. So he opened up a separate account. It wasn't separate. My name was supposed to be on it. I can always tell you guys this, right? I know this is long, but this is all important, okay? So what happened, I never filled out the paperwork and add myself to it. I can't remember. Some accounts were joint with Chase and some weren't. Something happened that they didn't do it right, okay? So one of the accounts, the bulk of our money was in an account that I didn't have my name on it. You guys, we have already shared money together. We had issues with money where he would be stingy and we would fight over money, whatever, but both of our names were on the account. When he opened this account for Washington Mutual, which is now Chase, to save money for fees, you guys, I would never thought in a million years that this man would do this to me. I didn't put my name on the account. If I was given discovery, like the law would allow, and we would have did bank records, the bank records would have showed that my name was on the account. I just never completed it. This is why I say the respondent. that, like I said, that's like one of the issues. I'm telling her, because I didn't have representation, I don't know the process to discovery. What blank blank blank, he hasn't been transparent for a very long time. So what happened, he started putting money in this account. Okay, we had a joint account that I paid the bills out. This account that I never put my name on it, and I never had any reason to. You guys, I know you're going to say I sound stupid, but this was my husband of 20-something years, you guys. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so depressed and sad. I would have never known this man would have done this to me. I wouldn't have known that he would have done all the things that he did. As it goes, when you see what this man did to me, okay? So I'm telling her, so what's going on is that he has money in the account, our money. He started doing stuff. He actually, because my daughter told me, he took her to the bank and put her name on our account. This is him doing stuff so I can't have access to this money. This is marital assets that's supposed to be mine. My daughter told me when she was home for college that he took her to the bank and put her name on the account, I think as a beneficiary. I live in the state of California. She can't be the beneficiary. I need to be. You guys, he was doing foul shit. Excuse me. He was doing foul stuff. He's always done foul stuff. I was not okay. I was depressed and I was sad. And to be quite honest with you guys, we would always fight. This is one time that I was sticking my feet in the sand. I was like, I'm not going to be the one to apologize and kiss your butt. I was tired. My main reason was my back. I was trying to be okay. So to wrap this up and tell you again, I'm telling the judge, ma'am, he's not being transparent. And I'm saying to her, he hasn't been transparent for a long time. You need to understand, in my mind, this is California. This is a no-fault community property state. I would have never thought in a million years that these racist judges would have harmed me. I was hurting. I was in pain. My husband left. This is my husband. This is all I knew since I was 21 years old. So I'm saying to her, ma'am, he hasn't been transparent. I'm telling her that I can't really move forward with any hearing without representation. Judge Sarah Heidel is fully aware that I am not on an even playing field with the petitioner, with readiness, mental or physical ability. This court has zero concern for my well-being, justice, or my civil rights because I am American Negro, descendant of Choctaw slavery. Y'all forgive me because this is going to be a long video, and I told myself I wasn't going to do this. As I go on, you guys, I'm going to stick to the facts, but please stay with me because I want y'all to see what these people did to me. I want y'all to see how this can be a movie. This can be a Hulu Lifetime movie, what they did to me because I'm a black woman. I'm going to reference the family code throughout the video. It is relevant. One of the most crucial violations in this court didn't ensure that I had proper representation. I'm probably going to put this in here, you guys, okay? It says Family Code 2030. A Family Code 2030, this is a California state law, applies to divorce, annulment, and legal separation cases and any matter related to the 3 types of action. The code states the family court must, this means it's not up to the judge's discretion, the court must ensure that each party has access to legal representation, preserve each party's right by ordering whatever amount is reasonably necessary for attorney fees and for the cost of maintaining or defending the pending action. And 3, make these orders based on the income needed of the party. So what I'm saying in this first part, I'm saying to her, ma'am, I need spousal support. I need legal representation. At this time, the petitioner was making $14,000 a month. I didn't have an income, you guys. I tried to drive Uber the year before. I hadn't had a regular job since 2008. I tried to do ride share the previous year, but the fuel exceeded my earnings. To recap, it's January 2019. I'm gonna put my earnings on this website. Um, Judge Sarah Heidel is a racist. I'm gonna put my earnings and let you see what they did to me and this man's income. Okay, um, it's all public record. At this time, the petitioner was making over $14,000 a month. I had had a regular job since 2008. I tried to do ride share the previous year, but the fuel exceeded my earnings. To recap, it's January 2019. The petitioner left the marriage home on January 2018. I could have filed for immediate temporary spousal support, but I didn't have the mental capacity. For the past 6 or 7 years, I had chronic back pain. He was mentally abusive throughout the entire of the marriage. I don't know what I'm supposed to put there of the marriage. I actually went into counseling a year into the marriage, and on throughout the marriage because of this man. You guys, somebody's texting me. Let me say this to you. This is going to be long, you guys. But what I'm trying to say to you guys is that this. What is this? I actually went to. I'm going to promise you that I'm going to get better at sticking to the facts if you're a legal professional, okay? I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna continue. This is over an hour long. It might be an hour and a half long. Please stick with me. This is the very first video, and I'm so sorry it's taking so long. I'm begging you to please stay with me and watch my videos. The transcript says, transcripts January 2nd, 2019, page 10, line 20. I'm going to refer you to the transcripts. The court intentions was to shield me from our marital assets. As I detail the story, you will see a pattern of Judge Sarah Heidel ruling in favor of the petitioner with the intention to deprive me of marital assets. It was her intentions to cause me financial and mental harm because I'm a Black woman descendant of Choctaw slavery. I'm saying this to you guys. I am suffering from anxiety and depression. I've been under a doctor's care for several years now. I live in the bed-bug-infested hotel, and I've been homeless. They stole my home in 2020. I haven't had a home since 2020. They gave all my property, totaling probably close to $1 million, to a storage company that stole my things. Okay, I'm going to detail this. As I read this, everything is coming to light. They planned this from the beginning, and you're going to be able to see this, okay? This is what she says, the court. But you already know what you want. ... This is where the transcripts, they don't have anything, okay? What happens in my testimony, you're going to see in the transcripts that it's going to be portions of the testimony that's missing. I submitted one of the transcripts to the people who do the transcripts. They're saying that there's nothing wrong with it. What I'm saying, again, I am saying I am a victim of anti-Black hate crimes by the state of California. There are multiple court officers, governmental agencies, and private entities are party to the anti-Black hate crimes, fraud, and the cover-up of those fraud. Okay? Remember the question. The court, this is what she says to me. You guys, at the time, I don't know what's going on. But you already know what you want. Then it's missing. Because she lying and she gaslighting me. This is the misconduct. There's certain property you want to split and you want spousal support. You actually know exactly what the issues are. You may not know all the property, but you seem to be blank, to have a pretty good idea of what the issues are from the trial. If you go back and look at transcripts, all the transcripts for January 2nd, 2019 is on this website. Nowhere in there did I say I know shit. Excuse me, I shouldn't curse. Nowhere in there do I say I know anything, because I don't know anything. I don't even know why we're in court. I went to it's a place that helps you self-help. I'm not going to get to this too deep. They misled me. They told me that once I went there, if I let her know that I've been a year without any support, that she would give me something. Okay? If you read and you listen, she accused me of lying. Okay? If you read the transcripts, in the transcripts, I'm saying, ma'am, they told me that you would, that if you knew that I don't have anything, that you would award something. Read this. Then I'm gonna say this to you again. She says, the court, but you already know what you want. Look at the transcripts. It's missing because she's lying. She's misleading. She's violating her oath as a judge, and it's misconduct and it's bias. There's certain property you want to split, and you want spousal support. You guys, I don't even know what we can split and what we can't split. Okay? I know assets are money. You guys, I don't know anything. Okay? You actually know exactly what the issues are. You may not know all the property, but you seem to be, it's missing, to have a pretty good idea of what the issues are for trial. Whether or not you're ready to go to trial, we'll find out in February. You guys, I'm mad because I want y'all to see what's happening. I've been talking too long, but y'all, this is going to be a long video. Stop it and pause it. Y'all need to listen to this whole series. If you're a Black person, descendant of chattel slavery, I am demonstrating that California is the most anti-Black state in this country, that the California government is guilty of anti-Black hate crimes and terrorism. And why it's important? Because the Department of Justice created this fake reparation task force to secure Black votes in this up and coming election, when the reparations task force was the ruse to maintain Black people in what I call the Democrat plantation. I'm going to tell you as we go on, probably later on in the story, how the reparation task force is a part to the anti-Black hate crimes and the cover-up. And I'm going to say alleged, okay? I'm going to say allegedly. Okay, I'm going to let you be the judge of this. This is a very misleading statement. I stated that I didn't know what I wanted. So what she's saying, you know everything you want. You know what you need. This is her talking to me. Okay? I'm going to find when it's another case where it's a white couple. You guys, she was so nice to this white couple. She was coaching them. She was being so nice to them. This is a young Jewish white woman. When I first saw her, I'm thinking, oh, great, this is going to be a nice white feminist woman who's going to have my back. Fool my Black ass, okay? When I first saw her, I was like, oh, good, it's a nice young white woman. She'll be nice and everything going to be equitable. This woman let me keep going. Let me be nice. I didn't tell her I don't have any. I tell her I don't have any income. That my son is paying for things. My Black son. That the petitioner put everything in my name, which was a violation of the family law statute in the state of California. If you know the law, can you anonymously or whatever help me? I'm going to put my email address right here. Help me, please. I have 2 different email addresses. Help me. This is not for me. This is me holding the state accountable and ensuring that they don't hurt any other more Black people. I'm telling her that I need help. That I'm clearly telling her I need help. That he has been hiding things and I need to know how to proceed. Her statement was misleading and was done purposely to confuse me. The court claims that I knew what I wanted. In my testimony, I told the court because of the lack of representation, I didn't have clear understanding of what I was allowed and how to discover what should be considered because he isn't transparent. Please take note. I explained to her that I was struggling because I had health issues. I couldn't work. I was borrowing money from my son. You guys, my son has all these I got all these promissory notes to my son. Oh, my son, y'all, he be getting, when he get mad at me, he throw in my face. I owe him like $160,000. I literally owe him. I thought when my divorce ended that I was going to pay him. They stole all my money. I ain't going to jump. They stole all my money. They gave all my money to this white man. Okay? So, because I had health issues, I couldn't work. I was borrowing money. Her making this comment was again gaslighting and misleading me as a black Negro woman, as if there was something negative about my behavior. I was a woman who was left by her cheating, abusive husband of 23 years. In an attempt to provide for myself, I drove for a rideshare company that ended up being less than minimum wage. I sustained a horrible injury when I was trying to recover from a severe back injury and the back surgery. The judge is trying to negatively characterize me because I'm a black woman. So what happens, you guys? I feel good right now. I feel better. That's because you know what? I'm listening to videos about, I'm in therapy, and I've been putting this off. You guys, I just was listening to, I'm getting anxiety now. I was just listening to this book called Unfuck Your Brain. You guys, this book is bomb. I was listening to this book called, look, I'm getting anxiety. See, I'm going to keep going. What happens is I get sick, I get scared, you guys. It's called Unfuck Your Brain. And I was just listening to it. And it was saying that I have to talk about it. And you guys, I can't. I mean, I have a hard time. I can do business and peace with my therapist. But like, I feel a weight lifted saying this much to you. Like, I feel better. Like, I can't even tell y'all. Every day I'm scared. If you look at the difference, when I upload this video, look at the last video. It's been months because me and my son keep going house. We're living in Airbnbs. What happened was they ruined our credit. They gave all the money in our marital assets to this white man, and they gave me all the debt. They gave me everybody's debt. Ruined my fucking credit. They put us in the street. My son had to pay for a hotel. He couldn't meet his bills. Discover screwed him. He called Discover to tell Discover that he couldn't pay. This is him being responsible. And I feel bad because he didn't tell me because he didn't want to burden me. He didn't have the money for the hotel, so he couldn't pay his credit card bills. What he should have did was pay his credit card bills late. Long as he didn't pay more than 45 days late, it wouldn't have reported him credit as bad. It would have recorded him slow or not even slow. He called Discover during COVID to let them know that he was going to be slow. What they did wrongly, didn't explain to him. They put him in a program as if he had defaulted. All he was doing was saying, my circumstances had changed. They have put me and my son in the street. In the street. During COVID. September 23rd, 2020. My beautiful black child is trying to do what's right. He's not burdening me because I'm crazy, y'all. I'm depressed, sad, I'm messed up. Still messed up. Okay? This is my baby. This is my joy. This is the best thing I ever. This is my greatest accomplishment in his life. This little black boy. This little black boy wrote me letters for years, thanking me for being a good mom. And these people took everything out of my house and gave it to these people. And I ain't seen my thing since 2020. So what my son does, he calls Discover to say I'm trying to be responsible. And usually he'll tell me, both my kids like, Mom, so and so, and I'll advise him. All this is happening. My son is trying to be a man to his mother. He calls Discover during COVID where people are defaulting on stuff because it's COVID. All he was trying to say is, I'm going to pay late. I can't make it on this date. What he should have done was just pay late. Because he called, and I keep telling him to fix this. This has been the day he needs to dispute. I told him to call an attorney and hold Discover accountable. Discover put him in a program that implied that he defaulted. You understand? It's during COVID. He's calling to say, I'm going to be late to let you guys know. Trying to be responsible. And they put him in a program that it appeared that he was default. Then it ruined his credit. He's just, you guys, it ain't gonna fix unless I fix it. And this is my child, it's my son. They took the money out of his account. So what they did was they put him in a program where they withdrew the money on a certain later date. But the way the person probably got credit for it was to say, oh, you're defaulting, so we're going into a payment program. All he needed to do was pay late. Because they put him in this program, it ruined his credit. So we lived in a bed bug infested hotel for over 3 years because the court ruined my credit and Discover ruined his credit. And I digress. The court claims that I knew what I wanted. In my testimony, I told the court because of the lack of representation, I didn't have a clear understanding of what I was allowed and how to discover what should be considered because he isn't transparent. Please take note. I explained to her that I was struggling because I had health issues. I couldn't work. I was borrowing money. Her making this statement, this comment was again gaslighting and misleading me as a Black Negro woman, as if there was something negative wrong with my behavior. I was a woman who was left by a cheating, abusive husband of 23 years in an attempt to provide for myself. I drove for a rideshare company that ended up being less than minimum wage. I sustained a horrible injury when I was trying to recover from a severe back injury, and I was trying to recover from a severe back injury and back surgery. The judge is trying to negatively characterize me because I'm a Black woman. I begged her to provide some type of relief. She refused. She was impatient and condescending. She has maintained this condescending demeanor at every hearing. You can see her body language or facial expression. She's always nasty to me. This was my first hearing, January 2nd, 2019. I'm trying to keep each video around 20 minutes. The video was going to start off slow as I go on. I'm going to do the trauma. You guys, my son is out. I don't know where he's at. It's 10. I told him, I'm going to show you this, guys, and this is how hard it is for me. I don't even want to show you. This is me asking him. This is me asking him to stay. To not come home. I asked him to go to the gym and work out to the gym to 8 o'clock. Okay? It's hard for me to get started and get ready. I'm just slow. Okay? This is my first video. I don't know if he's in here or not. I told him if he came back and are you here? Sterling. I told him if he came home to be quiet. You guys, my son plays video games and makes a lot of noise in the room. It was horrible in the hotel. We sat in the same room in the hotel. He was driving me crazy. Okay? But if you look and see when I uploaded this from the previous one, you're going to see how long it takes me to do this. So I'm going to wrap this one up. The question, make sure I have the question. I'm going to wrap this one up. Okay, I don't know. I think this is going to be the question for the next video. So just to get you started, okay? I'm going to wrap this one up and I'm going to start doing the next video because I'm on a roll. And you guys, I'm doing it. On the next video, I got questions. I'm probably going to start the next video with these questions again, but just to let you guys know. Does Judge Sarah Heidel blatantly gaslight, aggression, and bias against respondent rise to the level of misconduct? Review canon. I'm learning, you guys. I plan to go to law school, just to let y'all know. Because I love Black people. This is for us. Judge Sarah Heidel makes an accusatory statement with the intention to discredit and defame the respondent. Okay, this is for this video. Does Judge Sarah Heidel fail to provide instructions demonstrate intent to put respondent at a disadvantage? I'm the respondent. Compare and contrast the only hearing by any unbiased Judge Lawson. You guys, I think this is for the next video because she probably does the same thing. The third question is, petitioner and respondent were in a long-term marriage of over 23 years. Did Judge Sarah Heidel violate California family law by not ordering support as stated by California Family Code 4320? This the next hearing is for spousal support. She didn't give me spousal support, you guys. This man makes $14,000 a month at the time. He probably makes more. At the time, he was making $14,000 or more a month. I hadn't had a job since 2008. I did rideshare off and on. She didn't give me any spousal support. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to